Pokémon Black and White tell the most interesting narrative in the franchise, one which lets the player deliberate with the bonds they share with their Pokémon, touching on themes of liberation, control, and the ethics of what it means to be a Pokémon trainer. But it'd be a lot easier to give it all up if you had a Silcoon. At least that's what you'd think from a poll that Japan created in 2016. Over 500,000 Japanese Pokemon fans participated in a vote asking who their favourite Pokemon was, which, at that time, Pokemon X and Y were the newest entries in the franchise, and Black and White were less revered than today. The Unovan Pokedex disproportionately represents much of the bottom half of this list, and that alone made me want to take on the original games using the 6 most hated Pokemon from the region. Let's find out who's at the bottom of the barrel, try and take them through a major journey against the perils of Generation 5, and maybe see whether their disdain is justified, or if they can find some redemption. So, of the 6 most disliked Pokemon in the region, only 1 is technically accessible before beating the first gym, though in order to obtain it, it requires us to pick Oshawott, which is very ironic as this is clearly the best baby form of the starters, and I'm glad to see that me and the entire nation of Japan are in agreement, but it is necessary for us to pick it for this video to even get off the ground. Along the way to replacing this little guy though, we can start understanding how the other Unovan Pokemon did across the poll. You might be very much thinking that either of the Patrat line would be in the bottom 6, probably because you have eyes, but no, they placed 468th and 607th respectively. Lillipup's line ranges from the 200s to the 500s, and the Purloin line holds a similar apathy, but none of these guys can compare to our de facto starter. One Pokemon in particular who earned the wooden spoon as the definitive least favourite in the franchise at this time, the evolution to our first recruit, Pansear. And what a sad little life this guy leads. First things first, I didn't even really want this guy. This trainer forces me to take it, which is pretty funny that a Pokemon gifted to you is so unloved, compared to other more renowned presents in the franchise. But secondly, not only did its evolution become infamous for how little it's desired, its pre-evolution is also the most hated of the Elemental Monkey trio. Either way, on basically every facet of this guy's existence, it is just not winning the hearts and minds of the nation. But sure, it needs some love, and I want to try and take them to the peak after these messages. Hey guys, it's me, not Ash Ketchum. Ha 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 ha, just kidding guys, it was obviously me. You fucking idiot. I might have just scared you thanks to my masterful disguise, but I'm not the only person on the internet that wants to trick you, and that's why I'm here to talk to you about today's sponsor, NordVPN. With all the threats and deception on the internet, using NordVPN guarantees your online safety effectively and reliably. Just one click and you'll immediately have access to any of Nord's secure servers across the globe, protecting your online experience at home or on the go. Whenever I'm scouring Japanese websites for life-size plushes of Lilligant, don't ask questions. I can be sure I don't fall prey to any fake shops or scams thanks to Nord's Threat Protection Pro. And if there's anything I hate more than scams, it's phishing, which NordVPN does a fantastic job of keeping you safe from. Between its perks of greater internet access, shielding your online safety, as well as other great features like their dark web monitor that ensure your details don't fall into treacherous hands, this is a product I personally use and recommend unabashedly. So head to nordvpn.com/Luca for an exclusive NordVPN deal, plus 4 extra months free of charge. It'd really help out my best friend Luca, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee in case you change your mind. Thank you once again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. And let's get back to this little guy. Great. And I ran out of sertraline. So, the unfortunate truth for Pansear, not including all the other ones, is that Pokemon Black and White are slightly difficult relative to the franchise, and it becomes apparent early on that Pansear and I are facing a perilous journey. Admittedly, we crush Cheren, thanks to having a great answer for his Snivy. On the other hand, though, the gym trainers in Mistralton City ended up being far more of a struggle than I'd hoped. The second that the playing field is even, it's a 50-50 if my maligned monkey pulls through, even against your puppies and your monstrosities. Which, while we do win out here, by the time we step up to Silent's pair of Pokemon, we're not in a confident spot. His lead Lillipup knows the move Work Up, boosting its offensive potential. Meanwhile, Incinerates just aren't doing enough. We're able to get Lillipup below half health before it cripples us with a bite, and it's just looking like a nightmare ahead of us. The only way out is if we're able to get a critical hit, but it's just not gonna... Oh, we did! That was exactly what we needed to happen in order to give us a fighting chance. And like, yeah, Pansage has a weakness to us, but we're underleveled, yet Pansear is still pulling its weight. It only took one major battle for me to realize that this Pansear had a chip on its shoulder. It knows what's going on here, and it has something to prove. For it to clutch up so massively against its more popular contemporaries is something I can only respect, and I was now motivated to get this run going. A team of outcasts led by the most forsaken one of all was going to go as far as they could. So let's get some more recruits. Fortunately for us, and sadly for them, there's actually quite a few Pokemon in this early portion that are in the bottom 6. It's a bit depressing really. You'd think that generally favourites for traders skew quite highly in the early and late game, but it seems like nobody cared much about the Pidove line. Well, that's a third true at least. The baby form and its final evolution are 511th and 503rd on the popularity list respectively. Tranquil, meanwhile, shares spot 715 with Carvana, and that does make some sense. Rarely are they middle evolutions ever a trainer's top choice, and in fairness, the Pidove line is probably the least liked 3-stage regional bird, so it's a miserable combination. That means Tranquil will find its spot in our crew eventually. It's not the only flying type coming with us though. That's just a short stroll away in Mistralton Cave. We find the home to the one and only Woobat. This one is one spot below Tranquil and just one spot above Simisear, as it's tied with Vigoroth for some reason, and a future encounter at 717th. And while I'd love to give it some slack, yeah, this thing's fucking ugly, I gotta admit. Yeah, look, I feel bad, but I've never liked Woobat. What's with this design? Why do you have that buck tooth? Is that just one giant nostril? Buddy looks like he could outsniff Michael Gove. Even worse for it though, I'm sticking to a rule set of using specifically the least liked Pokemon, not just their evolution line. So while we will be evolving our teammates when the time comes, Woobat is going to stay a Woobat for this whole run. Regardless, these three are certainly not the shining team you'd expect the average Unovan protagonist to be carrying at this point, yet there's certainly strength in numbers that'll help us here. Against N, for instance. If we were in a 3v1 before, I don't think we'd have any chance of getting by. Though with the current power levels of unevolved Pokemon, we're able to soldier on. Soldier on until an evolved Pokemon, that is. Which gets us like 20 steps inside the gym, before some scientist's Herdia rips our team to shreds rather effortlessly. I won't forget this, number 449. Look, a loss is a loss. It shouldn't be that painful to endure, though the Pokemon ahead of us were starting to power up, while we're trying to stay within the level caps of gym leaders. Meaning that even when we have the numbers advantage, it still isn't enough for me to think we're going to prevail. If only there was a fighting type nearby. One that was competent at this point in the game, and was also kind of off-putting to look at. No, not that one. No, not you either. Hey guys, it's no, Ash, no, Ash, that's done. Yeah, there we go. Who cares where timber gets its timber, or whatever that pink thing behind its head is, or why it's number 714 in this Pokemon list. This scrappy little guy is currently our best hope at continuing on through this run. As though it will never get to evolve into Gerda or Conkeldurr, it boasts some pretty solid HP and attack, which is what we're lacking with the current trio. This gives us a huge morale boost after we're able to kick aside the Herdia that bested us before, and with a quartet at our disposal, I think we have a fairly even fight against Lenora's power spike. Okay, low kick, obviously. Well, I can probably take one hit, you know. Okay, low kick. Nice. Okay, low kick again. Nice. Good start. I'm surprised we made it through pretty effortlessly. Ooh, wake up slap. That's a good move. Okay. A retaliate is coming. Yeah, that's a shame. Yawn. Right. No. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, yep, you know what? It sucks. Come on, Pidove. Come on. Early bird. Yes. Still does such big damage. We've put in the work. Come on. Come on. Nice. Nice. Good dodge of the hypnosis. Come on. Do at least half. Oh, good damage. Good damage. Okay, yeah. Come on. Come on. One last wake up slap. Come on. Oh, no. Not right now. Come on, wake up. Use the wake up slap on yourself. Just slap yourself in the face over and over again. No, come on. Come on. Yes. Good stuff. 4v2, but we still crushed it in the end. That was somewhat emblematic of this run going forward, where we have one main centerpiece joined alongside others who just need to do anything. But thanks to our squad, we were doing strong. And there isn't really much to be concerned with during the next portion of the game. We confront Team Plasma, who get routinely put away from the heroism of our Timber. They steal Bianca's Pokemon, which shouldn't offend me or my team, but it's just nice to feel wanted once in a while. And thankfully we get some of the very few evolutions we'll be seeing in this run. Pidove transforms into Tranquil, capping its maximum power to that of a mediocre pigeon. Woobat tries to escape its fate, that I refuse, to the chagrin of us both. But most importantly of all, by hitting the docks of Castelia City, we're gifted the Firestone. It's time for the unloved to become the least loved, as Simisear now can take the reins as the captain of this team. By the way, did you know that the beta design for Simisear looks like this? This is what we could have won instead. God has left us. Nevertheless, it doesn't have to do much at all for the next fight. Simisear could probably crush Burr comfortably by itself, yet Tranquil is blessed with Super Luck as an ability, making Air Cutter even more deadly than usual. And in the case of Dwebble, who threatens our strongest Pokemon with rocks, it has nothing for our Timber. The win is super straightforward, and I'm still super happy with the trio of Pokemon available to us. Yep. Definitely the whole team right here. Okay, that's unfair. While I'd probably prefer every Pokemon ever created, Woobat is not that bad. It's just kind of purposeless at the moment. But by the time we move through Route 4 and don't pick up Maractus, seriously, how did this get enough votes compared to our team? We arrive in Nimbasa City, and it all just becomes clear to me. Timber has a burning passion for fighting evil by routinely squandering Team Plasma grunts. Simisear and Tranquil cement themselves as the 1A and 1B of power in our squad, and Woobat can just go to the musical. You know, everyone's favourite part of this game. Ah, look, there it is. I'm so proud. This has to win some hearts and minds for sure. You know what, that was a tough crowd, which isn't much different to the vibe when we meet up with N again. Not only do we fumble first base on our date on the Ferris wheel, he reveals himself to be the main villain that we'll eventually have to topple. You know, the one that will harness a legendary beast. Well, we have a Woobat. That's irrelevant right now, though, because next up for us is Nimbasa's gym leader, Elisa. Elisa? We're in trouble, okay. Quite a bit, actually. The issue is really just the increase in trainer power. Her squad, while not massively unstoppable, is tough with our team's limitations. It becomes so much of an issue, in fact, that even against the gym trainers before her, something as simple as an Emolga just stonewalls us. It's fast, it's evasive, and it's status inflicting, which, with a touch of bad luck, completely unfurls any strategy we try. It's not something that we don't have answers for, at least. Simisear has a surprisingly deep move pool, so a detour to the desert resort to pick up the TM for Rock Tomb is a huge difference maker in our efforts to get through the gym. Alongside this answer for the airborne rodents, the TM for Dig we picked up on Route 4 pairs brilliantly with our Timber for any grounded electric types. So we have the tools in our disposal to put forward a valiant effort. It's just, you know, we don't have a blacksmith to take control of them. We have two babies, a pigeon and a monkey. Not quite the masters of their craft in the fight against, whatever her name is. We do admittedly outspeed with Simisear, and when Rock Tombs hit her pair of Emolgas, we're doing over half their health while sustaining their Volt Switches pretty comfortably. The downside, however, is 80% accuracy, and a single miss is pretty much a checkmate. A 1 in 5 chance for our attempt to die. Doesn't sound too terrible, yet it feels like so much has to go right for us luck-wise. Even some more outlandish strategies that managed to get our Timber on the field with Zebstrika still ultimately spell our demise. After repeated attempts, it's just not looking good. I'd started to think at this point that maybe this was as far as the team could go, sadly, ignoring ridiculous level advantages or rolling the dice, which isn't that much fun. Even with other strategies, I was feeling quite discouraged. Until I saw a through line, which would involve taking some of our team's strengths to their maximum and requiring a Pokemon that was particularly despised, yet still clears the 6 we're going to be stuck with. And while I'm usually pretty dumb for the most part, I felt like I was ever so slightly cooking when I put some pieces together. Okay, so I would have to use 4 Rock Tombs to take out both Emolgas as they Volt Switch into one another. I can instead use Work Up to double our attack and then reduce that to just 2 moves. It's risking a crit from the Volt Switch, but this is the much better play, I think, for reliability's sake. No critical hit. Right. 80% chance to hit. Please just hit. Round 2, everybody. Round 2. A Rock Tomb after 2 workups. This should get the kill. Perfect. Would have just been great if you did it the first time, you know. Second one. Nice. This should kill. Brilliant. Okay, there we go. That's 2. That's 2 down. 1 to go. Now, Zebstrika is fast and it's pretty powerful. I think it runs through every single Pokemon in our team. Even with our level advantage, it's just so quick. So, there goes Simisear. But I believe we have one out. This Timber has been pre-poisoned because Timber has Guts. And not only does it have Guts, it has Soft Sand. The combination of an 80 base power move that is super effective with Soft Sand, with the Guts boost, I'm hoping should get the kill. I just need to live one of these. Okay. I don't think there's anything she can do. Come on. Come on. This has got to get a kill. Fucking love to see that one. Oh, beautiful. That was an incredibly satisfying win to pull off when it worked. But nevertheless, this run continues to hit peaks and troughs. We hit a roadblock, we pick up a solution. We can't pick one up, well, we can just make do, even in spite of the flaws that we're facing, which is a pretty great feeling to have in this run, as we make it past the halfway point in Unova, though that feeling of victory and vindication pales in comparison to what happens next. Crossing the Driftvale Bridge gives us access to the west of the region, which most importantly gives us the greatest teammate that we're going to find on this team. A Pokemon clearly marred with some curse, as there's no reason why this Pokemon should be anything other than beloved in this franchise. Oh, sorry, can you just move aside for a second, please? I have such an affinity for Pokemon that are just kind of there, which is probably the most apt description for Carablast. In an almost poetic way, this guy's the 6th least loved Unovan Pokemon. Exactly 1 place lower than both Vanillish, and perhaps perfectly 1 place lower than Shelmet. Presumably a single vote kept Carablast's counterpart in the clear, though even worse for it, Excelgor absolutely clowns a Scavalier in a popularity contest too. By most metrics, you'd probably be inclined to not care too much about this little guy, but it's a bug type, pretty easily forgotten, looks like it owns the chum bucket, and for all the above, it is easily my favourite in the team. I don't think it'll do much at all, but that's all I need it to do. Though you might also be thinking, hey wait, you don't like Woobat, and it does the same thing. Yeah, that's about right. Anyway, Clay's gym is on the horizon, which is on par with the previous one. His Krokorok and Palpitoad are less strong overall compared to Emolga, though his Ace Excadrill is pretty infamous. Very powerful attack, decent speed, and a moveset that can cover its bases nicely. Despite that though, our gym journey seems to alternate between highs and lows, as we have quite good answers at our disposal. Timber, for instance, can sweep Krokorok on the first turn, still pulling its weight even in its most infant form. Woobat plays its necessary role as usual, because cleanly bringing in Simisear lets us crush Palpitoad with a Grass Knot. And lastly, to prevent Excadrill from getting ahead, hitting it with Yawn mitigates its fear factor beyond 2 turns, clearing the court for Timber to return, bulk up once, and subsequently punt the Metal Mole into next week. A decisive victory after a hard-fought one just feels so good at this point in the run. That said, I can't get too overconfident, as future fights will continue to put pressure on my team, which, at the same time, my own squad should start to see an uptick in their power levels, though that just won't happen. We only have one Pokemon that's reached its full potential, while the rest will continue to lag behind. In a limited capacity, we can work around these shortcomings, such as Timber's propensity to bulk up for physical threats, equating to a sweep through the battle against N in Chargestone Cave. But the second we stepped out the cave, the harsh endpoint of Unova's mid-game was in our way. Trainers before were once trivial, yet running into the wrong one now can spell a wipe for our team. And Skyla is the first gym leader that truly embodies this fear. She's mercifully carrying just a team of 3 to give us the numbers advantage, yet this is the first team with fully evolved Pokemon across the board. An Ace Swanna with a great type matchup against our captain, alongside a Swoobat and Unpheasant to taunt our flying type duo. This fight isn't just formidable, it's almost personal. So after upgrading our Simisear's move pool by tutoring it Flame Burst, leaning into the friendships we've built by giving our squad return, and doing some pre-fight planning learning about Skyla's team, I begrudgingly stepped up to the plate. So I had to actually look at her team and moves in order to just try and figure out something. And I haven't got like an amazing plan, but this Swoobat has an amazing type matchup against our Timber, but it only knows physical moves, and so I think we should be able to take at least an Acrobatics. It didn't even go for it, it went for a Heart Stamp. Yeah, okay. As long as we don't flinch and we hit, okay. This won't kill, but this will do a lot. Oh, I take that back. Was that a roll to kill? Come on. Oh. That's unlucky. That's... okay, never mind. Maybe the AI in this game isn't on the level I thought it was. I will presume that a high roll won't kill. Oh, okay, a crit does though. Now, okay, well, just going off of the AI. This Unpheasant has Air Slash. Assuming it doesn't go for it though, might as well. Razor Wind. Oh my god, we've just been given an opening. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. This should do... oh, not even close. The power of friendship should get us over the line. Oh, no, that's perfect. This is the perfect matchup for us. Okay, the final Swanna. Okay, that's a little annoying. Maybe get the Yawn? Okay, okay. The AI in this game isn't as sharp, I guess, as I would have given it credit for. But so long as we can... okay, okay. Right. Live one, live one, live one, live one. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Just stay asleep? You don't heal, do you? Oh, okay. Wow. Wow, okay. I do think that some of the shine was lost a little bit in that fight due to Skyla making some pretty suboptimal plays, though that cannot undermine how awesome it felt to win that fight on our first try, which either says that this game is an absolute doddle at this point, or I'm the greatest Pokemon trainer to ever live. Yeah, it's probably the first one, really. However, though it's getting somewhat repetitive, now this game is assuredly seeing a bigger and bigger discrepancy in what we're facing off against. We actually got swept by Cheron before entering Twist Mountain, but the worst part about that isn't so much the sweep, is that we got swept by Simipour, practically an arch rival to our captain, scalding our squad one after the other. It only takes an aquatic variant of our very best to hand us a loss so shortly after a gratifying victory. The late game is approaching, which does not bode well for our team in the slightest, excluding the fight against Bryson. Bro is using ice types, and we get a glimpse of the future that awaits us at the peak of the Dragon Spiral Tower. N now has full control of Zekrom, an electric dragon with insane capabilities. We have a Carablast. I think we're pretty on par. What ultimately separates us from N are 5 major battles currently standing in our way, which are not going to be easy by any stretch. Thankfully, on the other hand, we're now at the final leg of the run, which permits us to get teammate number 6. If you've been wondering who it would be, and surprised it's taken this long, I'd have been much the same too, because shockingly, tied with Woobat and Vigoroth for second last, is Pawniard. Unlike Woobat, Carablast or Timber, this is a pre-evolution I seriously wouldn't have thought to see such little love. It's a cool dude with blades for hands. Combine that with a fantastic type combination prior to Steel's nerf in Generation 6 and solid attack and defense, and it's of a similar caliber to Timber. On top of that, a resistance to the Dragon type is going to be rather useful, because I am not looking forward to this one. Our Polluted City's final gym is filled with the mythical monsters that can run amok in no time at all over our squad. A single Dragon Dance from a random trainer's fracture is enough to take the risk level from medium to Defcon 2 against most of our team. Again, this isn't even against Drayden, who has 3 powerhouses in his own right. Even with a numbers advantage, this is still the severest discrepancy up to this point our team is going to stare down. An eclectic assortment of puny Pokemon having to step up to the final gym leader, a Dragon Master. What can we do? Well, we just do the same as we've always done. We'll figure it out. Starting with Fracture. Tranquil has a brilliant move at its disposal in Feather Dance, which undercuts the dragon's physical prowess even after a Dragon Dance. All Drayden is concerned with by this point is trying to make up for every repeated attack drop, which opens the floor for us to completely neuter it, until a return brings it under half health, and a Dragon Tail brings in Woobat. For all this run, it's basically been a punching bag. Yet at level 41, it knows Calm Mind for a special boost, and Psychic for big damage. Druddigon poses a similar problem, but Thunderwave cripples its speed, Carablast does completely necessary chip damage, and the rest of the team all contribute in a beatdown against this Lego-looking piece of shit. Ultimately though, the combination of Tranquil's ability to neuter opponents and heal itself gives us complete control over the battle so far. That's 2 down, and I know it's only a 6v3, but it's amazing we're getting this far. There is a window. I just have to hope that we can get through it. Please, please don't go for Slasher Assurance. Okay, it went for Dragon Tail. That's great, that's great, that's great. Just gonna go for pure damage. There we go. How much does Hammer Arm do? Come on. Okay, I'm gonna go for Bulk Up. Oh, this is so close. We have a Timber with buffed attack staring down the final gym leader's ace. It just needs to survive 1 hit. Okay, never mind. A little bit underwhelming. Oh, we have to hit? We do have to hit? We hit? Do we kill? Yes, yes, man. And with the most ragtag group of dorks, we've still beaten the gym challenge. Look at this team. Think about how weird and unfocused this squad is. These guys have still just earned all 8 gym badges, with a final fight that required everyone to contribute in a pretty hilarious fashion. I was so happy with how far they had gone, albeit I knew that waiting for us was absolute agony. A quartet of tough trainers, alongside an effective double champion that would cause any well-respecting team to shudder. So before we go and take them on, I wanted to make sure that everything was as good as it could be. By EV training against wild Pokemon, we could focus on the individual strengths of each teammate that I wanted to maximize against the fights ahead, and then we almost wiped a Charon's Water Monkey again. Dude, just get a fucking hobby, mate, please. What more is there to say than that? The team is the best incarnation it can be, it's just easy to conquer too. Though we've made it this far, and we weren't going to stop now. At the level cap of 52, with a bunch of useful items and TMs scavenged across the region, we were going to go until the wheels fell off. The first Elite Four member we step up to is the Psychic Specialist Caitlyn, who I feel most confident in taking out thanks to our newest additions. Carablast does an essential service of doing great damage then dying immediately, but this was all clear misdirection on our part thanks to Pawniard. Steel Dark is fantastic, even in its baby form, and Night Slash means we can rip through the first 3 of Caitlyn's Pokemon before Simisear finishes the fight against Sigilif. Next up on the chopping block is Grimsley, which should be an easy enough fight. except I'm dumb and don't know how directions work, so Chantal, the ghost trainer, is up next. However, despite our lackluster team, we have incredible luck at our disposal. Night Slash from Pawniard, Oko's Cophagragus thanks to a critical hit, Tranquil hits Golurk with Fly the same turn it curses, taking itself out in the process. Dig from Simisear can crush the threat that is Chandelure, and Chantal blunders her queen against our pawn for possibly the most blessed battle that we've seen in this run. I cannot overstate how big that critical hit at the start was, and the blessings continued through the remainder of the Elite Four. Grimsley has a team that a majority of our own guys can topple, but his Crocodile definitely stands defiantly over most of our squad, with the glaring exception of a guts boosted Timber, that is, who can both tank an Earthquake like it's nothing, then bonk it into the ground with a hammer arm. The last remaining member is Marshall and his fighting types, who arguably have the best coverage against our team, but truthfully, we just keep trading blows back and forth. It's not very interesting, truthfully. A lot needed to go our way in this fight, yet it all came to fruition thanks to our Tranquil squaring up to his Mienshao. Our not fully evolved and normal bird was the key to our success in conquering the final leg of the Elite Four, but everyone truly carried their weight through all these fights too. Unfortunately, these fights are just the starters. In fact, every fight in this game, no matter how arduous, is child's play compared to the final fights of Black and White. This is a game where the champion wields a legendary beast as his lead, and a fairly worrying quintet accompanies it. Sure, the game practically hands us our own legendary to use, but why would I ever need one of the franchise's most popular Pokemon when I have a perfectly good team right here? So, Zekrom is scary, but we outspeed. How much does a dig do? I'm going to presume a third, if I'm lucky. Maybe half? Nah, third for sure. Okay, light screen, pretty perfect. It's actually the best case scenario. Going to yawn. I just need to tank one fusion bolt, please, please. You can tank one. It's not super effective. Come on. Good, good, good. No turn one wake up. Okay. And I don't think that this procs full restore. Okay. Looking at the numbers, this should KO. And the light screen's worn off. Oh, okay. That's the champion down. Not the champion. The legendary of the champion is done. Right. Oh, okay. Hammer arm. Okay, we outspeed. Good damage. Waterfall's gonna do double. Please. Come on, come on. You can tank it. Just barely tank it. You just barely tank this. Kling Clang, huh? I don't see any use case for Timber. Flame Burst. Over half. Oh, it gets the kill. I thought it would do decent damage. Ooh. It's probably random move. Woobat's got a terrible matchup against everything here. Sorry, Woobat. Sucks to lose Woobat on that one, but Pawniard has a great matchup here. We eat that now. Oh, crit. Okay. Well, I mean, that's basically, I just take 2 Stone Edges in a row. But Pawniard holds the fucking line, man. Zoroark. Yeah. Is there anyone in my team that I can switch to right now? No. I don't have anything here. Thank you, Pawniard. Oh. That's so big. That's such a huge throw for him to do that. I guess he just went random move between Flamethrower and Focus Blast and he just lost that roll. Oh, that is so lucky. That is so lucky. Yes, we get damage in. There we go. There we go. Okay. Focus Blast. Yep, whatever. This is astonishing scenes, ladies and gentlemen. Carablast, on Muck Monday no less, is about to kill a Zoroark if we outspeed. We do outspeed. Come on, please, Gil. This would be so good. Yes. There we go. And now, all N has left is a goddamn ice cream cone. And this is scary still. This is still pretty worrying. Blizzard. Oh my god. Oh my god, please. If there's any justice in this world, this guy is going to go for Blizzard again. It's going to miss, and Carablast is going to beat the champion of Pokemon Black. Oh, there's no justice in this world, man. I knew it all along. Oh, God. But we did still beat N on our first try. I was truly astounded with what we just pulled off. Simisear beat Zekrom in a 1v1. If that isn't enough to galvanize you through another immediate championship fight against some weird old dude in a cape, then how can you ever expect anything but to prevail again? Yeah, okay, we couldn't quite pull the double on our first try, alas. It's a shame, I won't lie, but our team did tremendously well to get past N. It's just a bitter pill to swallow that Ghetsis has an absurd team surrounding him. Well, not even necessarily his team, it's just his Hydreigon. One of the most beloved pseudo-legendaries in the franchise, thanks to its overwhelming power, was just too much for our ensemble. Well, too much for our ensemble at that moment. The team that was needed to beat N is slightly different than the team that's at its strongest against Ghetsis. So what happens when we step up for just one rematch? Despite the team we have, we might have it. Already reliably great damage. Amazing. Critical hit. That's really not a great start. Okay, Hydreigon. I don't have an answer for you. I believe you just have random AI and you just go with whatever. And I've got answers with the rest of the squad. So, on the off chance, please go for something like Focus Blast and miss, or Fire Blast and miss. Just miss. Unlucky. 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 I believe that our monkey is the best answer for this. I believe that Simisear can go toe-to-toe with Hydreigon. I just need it to hit Focus Blast. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, sorry, I just have to interrupt with my post-commentary here. That Focus Blast never kills. I'm pretty sure. But once again, the only way out is if we're able to get a critical hit. This was sick. That is a complete game changer. Come on. Come on. Focus Blast? Again? Okay. Come on. Come on. Definitely over half. There we go. Oh man. Okay, you still live. I did not expect you to still be here. Focus Blast, please don't miss. Oh, okay. Good damage. I think this kills. Especially with the charcoal. Good, 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 good. This monkey's had a chip on its shoulder this whole run. And look at that, Seismitoad. Horrifying. It should be terrifying. Grass knot though. I think that's a decent answer. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to give it a break. Timber. A master of evasion. And the Pokemon that's taken it to Team Plasma the most this run, I think. Even facing off a terrifying Bladed Knight. We are crushing it. We are on Ghetsis' last Pokemon, and we have 5 in the back. Thematically, it makes sense to finish the fight with the monkey. But I do think I have one guy I kind of want to see this win out more with. Come on, we tank an acrobatics. Surely we tank an acrobatics. Yep, we do. Hammer arm. Over half? Just under. That's fine. Thank you, Timber. Woobat. I was incredibly dismissive of you throughout, but you were pretty good utility. And that is a function in a team. So thank you for coming. I just need you to just die to a wild charge. Oh, I didn't know we outspeed. Oh my god. Woobat. The Pokemon I've completely dismissed this whole time. It might actually get the win. Yes, we go down. But do you go down with us? No. Just barely not. Okay. Okay. What is going on here indeed gets this. I would say the same thing seeing this guy too. We win! We win with Carablast! I thought it would heal. I thought it would heal. That is an incredible final Pokemon to win with. Oh, Ghetsis. That is incredible. Ah, what a fantastic final attack.